We see a grown-up man at the beginning of the film. His name is Joe, and he works as an advertising executive. He appears to be a man who isn't interested in anything. He is a drunk, arrives late for work, and desires women. He arrives late at work and runs into his colleague. She is upset because he arrived late, as he always does. After a while, his boss enters his cabin and requests that he attend some important guests for dinner tonight and make the deal with them anyway. His wife Donna then calls him. She confronts him because he failed to remember his daughter's birthday. Joe says he won't be able to attend tonight due to special guests. He claims that the girl is only 3 years old. She has no idea whether I am present for her birthday or not. He is then seen sitting with the client. His colleague Heen is also on hand to assist him. Because of her, the client accepts the deal and leaves for an urgent call. Meanwhile, he flirts with Heen and informs her of his plans for the evening with her. She is offended and claims she assisted him in order to get away from him as soon as possible. The client overhears the conversation and punches him in the face. Joe drinks a lot and yells at them from the side of the road. He is deeply hurt by his failure and his drunken behavior. He goes to his friend's bar to drink some more, but he declines because he is already drunk. Joe then opens his eyes in the morning. He enters the restroom and discovers the shower is on. He believes someone is in the shower, but the bathroom is empty. As he regains consciousness, he realizes he is in an unfamiliar room. He tries to escape, but he is trapped inside a room with iron doors. The only thing in the room is a scenery. The scenery changes from time to time, and food is served to him. He tries to ask the man where he is, but he does not respond. The plate includes basic food items as well as a bottle of liquor. They serve him the same meal on a regular basis, which he despises. He has only a Holy Bible, a pen, and an empty notebook. He watches television and prefers the female-oriented channel. He collapses in bed as the room fills with a mysterious fog. An unknown man enters the room and collects his hair, fingerprints, saliva, and other tissues. Joe watches TV the next day. He sees on the news that his wife has been murdered by someone, leaving behind their 3-year-old daughter. He is surprised to learn that he is now alone. After a few days, he begins to lose his senses. He has been suffering from mental disorders for 4 years. He discovers a rat in the bathroom and pet him. He couldn't find his new friends one day, so it appears they cooked them for him to eat. He completely collapses after this incident. He smashes the mirror and attempts to sever his wrist through the glass. He intended to end his life, but it did not occur. He feels strange when he wakes up without his beard and mustache. His wrist is bandaged, and his room has a mirror. In the corner of the room, he discovers a camera. It is revealed here that a black man is keeping an eye on him. A TV show is investigating Donna's murder mystery after 5 years. Joe is listening in on a live interview with his neighbors. They also showed his daughter, who is a violinist. Joe is both happy and moved to see her. He has now begun to write as well. He writes that he saw his daughter for the first time in a long time, and that she is stunning. He wants to do the right thing for his daughter. He is currently attempting to quit drinking and become healthier. He has strong cravings for liquor, but he restrains himself for her sake. His mind is working again now that he has stopped drinking. He is now considering who is responsible for his wife's kidnapping and murder. While taking a shower, he takes out the pen refill and begins removing the concrete from the tiles. Years have passed, and he is now writing a final letter to his daughter, requesting that she read these letters before passing judgment on him. The interviewer shows his daughter Mia as he packs those letters to leave. She believes her father murdered her mother. She despises him. Meanwhile, the fog has returned to the room. He falls unconscious. He finds himself in a box as he opens his eyes. He is left in a completely remote location with only his letters, money, and a cell phone to use. Soon after, he notices someone hiding an umbrella with the same signs he had on his hands. He approached her as she entered a field. A group of men attacks him and tells him to leave the lady alone. He fights back, and they all fall to the ground within seconds. He returns to the same umbrella and reaches for it. But this is not the same girl. Instead, he is a man with a mental illness. A doctor's assistant calms him down and notices that he is not feeling well. As he walks away, she hands him her business card and tells him to call if he needs to talk. He goes straight to his friend's bar and is shocked to learn that his friend is still alive. He tells him everything that happened, and then his phone rings. The caller wishes you a happy independence. You should consider your actions and every word you speak. If you do good, You may receive happiness as well as your daughter. Joe scribbled down the names of people he believes are behind all of this. He enlists his friend's assistance in searching for their database. Joe searched all night while his friend slept. His friend discovers him unconscious in the morning and summons the same doctor girl for assistance. She inquires about Joe's story, but his friend does not reveal anything about him. She is Marie, and she is very interested in Joe's story. She spends the entire night reading Joe's letters. She is moved by his affection for his daughter. He jerks awake and yells at Marie for reading his letters. She tells her to leave, but she wants to assist. He receives a text message and follows the sender to a location. He discovers his boss is mentally ill and declares that he cannot be the person. He then enlists Marie's assistance in locating a restaurant called Dragon. Marie had to leave him because she had a shift. He's attempting to eat the same dish he's been fed for the past 20 years and wants to know who sent those meals. He locates the man and follows him to the same location where he was imprisoned. He murdered the man sitting in the reception area. It appears that the man kidnapped several men and fed them the same food. He tracks down the man in charge of the cameras and tortures him in order to learn who kept them here. They only deal with phones and do not ask for names. He discovers audio tapes of a man planning to kidnap Joe. He fights all of the goons and is severely injured. Marie is surfing the web about Joe Dusick. She gets the call about his treatment. Her friend examines Joe's wound and informs him. Marie has been through a lot in her life. Please take care of her. He inquires about Marie's feelings for him. She claims it was a long time ago and is no longer the case. He takes her out and tells her to go and not to return. Then we see him sitting in a bar with a friend. He gets a call from the man sitting directly behind him. He tries to fight, but they are professionals. The man tells you that I have your daughter and that you must behave properly if you want to see her. He shows him the videotape of his wife's murder. He is the perpetrator. He offers him millions of dollars in diamonds, handwritten confessions to murderer and captivity, and promises to shoot himself in front of him. If he answers 2 questions, who is he and why did he kidnap him for 20 years? He says you win if you provide satisfactory answers within 46 hours. Otherwise, he will murder his daughter. Adrian, the boss, examines the camera that has been installed in Marie's room. Joe and Marie work together to find more clues. They locate Evergreen Academy for the next clue and travel to DH place together. She inquires about his previous life while driving. Marie tells her about Joe as they near the top of the academy. While looking through the book for a clue, Joe discovers the man's name. He was Adrian, a student at the same academy as Joe. Now that the academy has been sold and closed for several years, both of them have returned home. Joe inquires about Adrian, who he studied with. While Marie was taking a bath, he grabbed her hand as she approached him to change his band-aid, and she was also in love with him. Things happen between them while Adrian looks shocked. Chucky discovers that Adrian founded the academy in the name of his characterless sister. Adrian is watching Joe's phone. He goes to Chucky and murders him for referring to his sister as characterless. Joe and Marie learn about Adrian's sister together. She attended the same high school where Joe humiliated her. He then caught her doing it with her own father. She committed suicide the next morning. As they leave academy, they discover Chucky's tongue in a parcel. Joe departs to visit her daughter. He reaches Adrian and murders his bodyguard. Adrian asks him the 2 questions. He introduces himself as Adrian, and Joe tells him about what he witnessed that evening. Adrian hands him the money and leads her into the green room. From there, he broadcasts the episode. Mia was not his real daughter, and the show was a hoax. Adrian lets him out of the building and arranges for Marie to meet him there. Marie falls in love with him in the same way that his sister did with her father. Marie is his biological daughter. Adrian fulfills his promise and kills himself after Joe sobs in pain. Joe abandons Marie and departs for good, and Marie resumes her previous work. The film ends here.